Yo, what is going on, guys? This is your boy CJ Beasley here, back again. Today we have yet another battle video from the UBLN. This week we are taking on Prioxas, coach of the Southen Crim. A really great battler, definitely a worthy opponent, so hopefully we can pick up a W. Right now we are sitting at 3-2, I believe. We are doing pretty decent on the season. This league's kind of dying out. So I haven't really been putting too much effort into this league, to be honest with you, since I can kind of just feel like the level of it dying out. But either way, we're still gonna play until we don't want to play until our opponents stop responding, I guess. But we're not really putting too much effort into the teams. And this was basically like me and my good buddy Buttermink, the Manbird, build this team in about 20 minutes. So hopefully we can pull out a W here. But I'm just going to run through it really quickly. Like I said, didn't really put too much thought process into this team. We just kind of were like, okay, this looks good, I need to cover this, whatever. So first up, we're just going to look at his team. So his team consists of Victini, Alolan Ninetales, Jolteon, Decidueye, Drampa, Chimecho, Empoleon, Gliscor, Milotic, Liepard, and Mega Beedrill. So a really scary team. Really value out of his tiers. Jolteon's a big threat. His team's pretty fast, so I kind of got to look out for that. But besides that, you know, I feel like I can handle it. But I'm just gonna hop into things. Like I said, I didn't really put too much thought process into this. So first up, we got Frank Furter, the Alomola, Rocky Helmet, Regenerator, Scald, Knockoff, Protect, and Wish. With 188 HP, max defense with a bold nature, and 68 special defense. This is my primary switch into the Mega Beedrill, as it can take hits for days from Mega Beedrill. Scald that thing, burn it, whatever. That's basically why I built this. Knockoff is a nice option for like stuff like Chimecho, stuff like the Decidueye, whatever wants to try to come in on this. It can knock off its items, or just knocking off items in general is pretty nice. And obviously Wish Protect's pretty basic with the Regenerator and Rocky Helmet. Next up, we got Jessica, the Mega Lopunny, with the Lopunite, Limber before it Mega Evolves, and obviously Scrappy after it does, with the Return, Fake Out, High Jump Kick, and Ice Punch with 36 HP, max attack, and 220 speed with a Jolly Nature. This outspeeds a max speed Jolteon, which was kind of the speed tier I wanted to hit. Return plus High Jump Kick pretty much runs through his entire team, outside of the Gliscor, which I have Ice Punch for, and Fake Out is obviously there for nice chip. That's basically what this is. Next up, we got Why So Serious, the Darmanitan, with the Choice Scarf, Sheer Force, Flare Blitz, Earthquake, U-Turn, and Toxic with 20 HP, max attack with an Adamant Nature, and 236 speed. This outspeeds a Mega Beedrill, as he doesn't really have the best Choice Scarf users outside of the Victini, and I didn't think that was too useful, so this outspeeds a max speed Beedrill, which I thought was pretty nice. Flare Blitz plus Earthquake plus U-Turn pretty much runs through his entire team after a certain point, outside of the Milotic, especially if it's Flame Orb. So I have the Toxic there. The idea is, this is my dedicated lead. If I have a favorable lead matchup and he brings a Milotic, I am clicking Toxic turn 1 and just hopefully catching the Milotic coming in on the U-turn or whatever he expects me to go for. Toxic that thing instead of letting it get his Flame Orb up, and at least chipping that thing down faster than Flame Orb would. So that is pretty nice. Next up, we got Ord, the Drogon, with the Rocky Helmet, Rough Skin, Dragon Tail, Earthquake, Stealth Rocks, and Toxic with 244 HP, 60 attack, and 204 defense with an Impish Nature. This is my primary check to physical Victini, as it can take hits from that for days. It doesn't really check especially offensive Victini, but I kind of have the Alomola for that, as Thunderbolt's not really doing too much for that, for Victini, so. And Energy Ball's not doing that much either. Dragon Tail plus Earthquake is pretty nice, as Earthquake pretty much hits everything, and Dragon Tail is just nice for phasing. And Stealth Rocks and Toxic are pretty nice as well. Stealth Rocks obviously just pressure his team, as he does have a couple things weak to Stealth Rocks, and Toxic is just there to catch things like the Milotic or whatever that it needs to catch, and just kind of spread around those Toxics, even to like Decidueye or whatever. Next up, we got Mighty Mouse the Mew, which is our sweeping set with the Lumberry, Synchronized, Psychic, Shadow Ball, Nasty Plot, and Rock Polish with 92 HP, 20 defense, max special attack, 44 special defense, and 100 speed with a modest nature. I don't know if I said that or not. This is my sweeper, like I said. I don't expect him to bring the Empoleon, so this basically covers his entire team outside of Empoleon. The idea is to figure out if the Milotic has Haze or not, or if the Chimecho has maybe like Taunt. If neither of those are the case, then I can basically set up on those things. As they try to like Toxic me, I have the Lumberry, and so at least I get both of my setups going, and then I can click Shadow Ball and Psychic and just kind of run through his team at that point. Especially if I can get things chipped down by Stealth Rocks, or my Mega Lopunny can chip things down or whatever. So that's kind of the idea, to get up a Double Dance, Psychic and Shadow Ball. Obviously you just kind of run through his team, and if I can set up on the Chimecho, if it doesn't have Taunt, then I basically can get to +6 special attack and just basically hurt things. So finally we have the Milan Pie, the Klefki, with the Leftovers, Prankster, Dazzling Gleam, Heal Block, Spikes, and Defog, with max HP, max special defense, and 4 special attack with a Calm Nature. Heal Block is obviously there. Just have a nice option for the obvious Gliscor switch in or the obvious Milotic switch in, so those things can't recover or roost. Spikes are there, obviously, just kind of pressure his team as he doesn't have the best removal. He has pretty good removal, but it's more like things on his team get pressured by Spikes, so I kind of force him to remove. And the Defog's there, obviously get rid of Stealth Rocks, get rid of Aurora Veil, stuff like that, and the Dazzling Gleam's there so I don't get walled by the Milotic. Originally it was Flash Cannon because this is my primary check to the Ninetales. And this basically comes in for free every time on a Ninetales, and if he tries to set up Aurora Veil, I can defog it away. But I have Dazzling Gleam now. It will 3-shot a offensive Ninetales, and it doesn't basically get walled by the Milotic, even though it's not doing too much. It doesn't get walled. That's kind of the idea. So that's pretty nice. So anyways, guys, I'm gonna stop talking. Don't know how this team's gonna do. Hopefully we can do well this week with it. Fingers crossed, but you know, this season's whatever. Like I said, it's kind of dying off, so we're trying to make the most of it while we still have it. So anyways, guys, I'm gonna stop talking and we'll just hop right into the battle video. Alright guys, so we're back. So looking at his team, he brought Victini, Chimecho, Empoleon, Beedrill, Ninetales, and Gliscor. So nothing too surprising outside of seeing Empoleon over the Milotic. So that's kind of actually super unfortunate for my Mew, as it doesn't really have the best opportunities to set up anymore, and it kind of gets walled by the Empoleon. So I definitely need to chip down the Empoleon before I seriously try to sweep with this. So that's kind of an issue. But anyways, my dedicated lead was going to be the Darmanitan. I kind of want to stick to that game plan, just kind of scout out what his Victini set was, if that's what he decided to lead. So I'm going to lead the Darmanitan. Good luck to my opponent. But yeah, like I said, I'm just going to click, I'm just going to lead the Darmanitan as he leads his Victini, which wasn't unexpected at all. So here I will just go for the U-turn, as I actually do outspeed him. So we know he's not Scarf Victini, so I'm like, okay, what kind of Victini is he? Maybe Bandit or something, but either way, I'm just gonna go out on my Dreadgon, just kind of scout damage, and he actually clicks turn 1 Z move, so that was super surprising. But he's gonna click the Psychium Z actually, so I don't know if this was Zen Headbutt or Psychic. I believe it was Psychic though, just based off of the moves we'll see later in the game. I believe this is Psychic, but I'm not 100% sure. That damage calculus, that damage is kind of hard to tell off of, but I believe it is Psychic. So anyways, here he's actually gonna retreat his Victini, which was super surprising. And here I'm also gonna double out into my Alomola, as he seems to be a special set based off of that damage from the Psychium Z. So here I'm actually gonna switch out into my my Klefki, not wanting to get toxic on my Alomola, and just kind of scouting for that. But he actually has a taunt, which is super unfortunate because it makes my Mew's chances of sweeping like super low. So that's kind of unfortunate, but we'll deal with it. So here I'm going to pull yet another double and go out onto my Mew, as he does go for the knockoff, so he has the coverage. It only does about 25%, and he gets rid of my Lumberry, which isn't too big of a deal. And here I'm just going to click Rock Polish. I definitely should have clicked Nasty Plot, That was really dumb on me, but whatever. So I just clicked the rock polish, as I was like, maybe he doesn't want to taunt me, but he obviously does. And here he can just go out into his Empoleon and just eat my Shadow Balls. If I would have clicked Nasty Paw, I would have been able to 3-shot him with my Shadow Balls, but it's whatever. So now my Shadow Balls are only doing about 15-20%, which is totally fine. And he does have lefty, so it brings him about 13%, or about like 85% of his HP. And I can click. I'm basically just gonna keep clicking Shadow Ball. I'm just kind of giving up on the Mew idea, so it's whatever. So here I'm gonna click Shadow Ball. He's gonna go for Scald and actually get the burn, which is really nice for me actually, because I get the synchronized bounce back. And now the burn will be negating his leftovers, which is super nice, like I said. So I'm going to take a little bit of burn chip. He's going to take a little bit of burn chip. And here I believe I just click Shadow Ball again, if I remember correctly. No, I switch out. I don't know why I switch out. Well, I go on to my Aloe. I think it was to knock off. I think the play was to knock off. And also, like, obviously eat Scalds. But I think I wanted to knock off here. And I don't even think I do that. I think I toss up Wish. Maybe it was to try to Wish Pass back into... Oh, that's what it was. It was... Okay, I was trying to Wish Pass back into my Mew to get it healthy, to see if I could try to sweep again. Since I got the burn on the Empoleon. So I was calcing, and after Stealth Rocks, unless if you got a max damage roll with the knockoff, just based off of the prior damage, I could live one more. I could live a knockoff after the Stealth Rocks, unless if we got like one of the max rolls. And here he will click the knockoff, and he does unfortunately get one of the max rolls, which is fine. It's not too big of a deal. Mew wasn't doing too much of this game, and it gives me a free switch into my Darmanitan, where I can freely U-turn, deal big damage to this. Unfortunately, the Stealth Rocks are up, so I get a little bit chipped down, but it's totally fine. And so here he goes out into his Ninetales, which is super risky. I was super close to clicking Flare Blitz, but I didn't want him to just kind of go out into... Or even if he stayed in, he could kind of recover on me, so I didn't want to stay in. So I clicked the U-turn, which is a super risky play, like I said, to go into his Ninetales. But here I'm just going to go on my Mega Lopunny. Excuse me. Get some Fake Out damage, just kind of see where this thing will be sitting at after Fake Out damage. Take a little bit of Hail Chip and Rock Chip, but that's fine. So here I'm going to click the Fake Out. As he goes out into his Chimecho, so I'm assuming this is a physically defensive Chimecho. That is his main Mega Lopunny check, which is pretty interesting. So here I'm just going to click the Fake Out, as it does about 35% after the crit, so that doesn't really help me based on my damage calcs, but I believe this is a pretty much a max physical defense Chimecho, as we see the leftovers here. And now I can go out into my Klefki at this point and just kind of heal block this and maybe start Dazzling Gleaming, or even starting to set up spikes or defog, as I don't want to really take a psychic move, as he does go for the Psy Shock here. Don't want to take the psychic move on my Mega Lopunny rather. So here I'm going to take the Psy Shock, take a little bit of Hail Chip, brings me down to about 75%, but I do have the leftovers. So here I expect him to want to click Knockoff maybe, or switch out. But I'm just going to defog away the Stealth Rocks, as they're pretty annoying for my team to deal with all around, so I will do that. As he does just go out into his Empoleon. So here, like I said, I go for the defog. Excuse me. It's pretty late here, so excuse me though. Sorry for the yawning. But he's going to take a little bit of Hail, take a little bit of Burn. I'm going to get some leftovers. He's going to get some leftovers, kind of like long in between turns, just with all the leftovers and the Hail and one burn and whatever. So here I will switch out. I go into my Mega Lopunny hard, as I do expect him to want to set up the Stealth Rocks yet again, but he actually doubles out into his Victini, which I thought was pretty interesting. So the heal's going to stop here, which is perfect, as I can just freely click return at this point. It will KO a Victini unless it be super bulky, but I don't expect him to be bulky. And he actually goes out into his Gliscor. Oh, I actually clicked Fake Out first, excuse me. After a Fake Out, a return will KO. But he goes out into his Gliscor, it takes about 20%. And I could click the Ice Punch here, And so I believe that's actually what I do, because Ice Punch had a pretty close roll to KO, so I just go for it. Earthquake wasn't KOing me anyways, and I actually get yet another crit on this Chimecho, which is super unfortunate for him, as this seemed like his main Mega Lopunny check, but you know, things happen. So I will just click the return, KO this Chimecho, and at this point my Mega Lopunny is looking really good against this team. And so here he's going to go into his Ninetales, and I was super confused by this play. Either he is bulky and thinks he can live a high jump kick, or he is Choice Scarfed. But either way, I want to switch out my my Mega Lopunny, and he actually switches out first, which tells me that he is Choice Scarfed, and he goes out into his Gliscor. So I go on to my Klefki, and I know that Ninetales is Choice Scarfed at this point. We're both going to take some hail damage. He's going to get a little bit of the Toxic Orb recovery, as I get a little bit of leftovers. And so here I can go out into my Alomola, or no, I sack off my Dredagon, excuse me. Here I'm going to sack off my Dredagon. I don't really need it for anything in this game at this point. So he does just go for the Toxic, which is fine. After this Toxic, he'll just be able to KO me with an Earthquake anyways. So here we're both going to take a little bit of chip damage from the hail. He's going to get a little bit of poison heal. I believe I take some toxic damage. Yep. And here you can pretty much KO me with whatever he wants to go for, but he actually clicks the knockoff, which is really nice for me. Now I know more of his set. And he takes some rough skin damage, and he'll take some Rocky Helmet. So that was actually best case scenario that I went for knockoff there, as it gave me extra chip on this thing, so it guaranteed to put it in range of my Mega Lopunny. So here I'm going to go back out into my Mega Lopunny. And I believe I just click the Fake Out at first, if I remember correctly. Maybe I click the Ice Punch first. And I click Fake Out. So I'm going to click Fake Out. And here I know I can just go for the high jump kick. No drawback to that play whatsoever. Even if he went back out into his Gliscor, it just puts him more in range of my Ice Punches. So I can easily click the high jump kick here. And he will stay in. I won't miss my high jump kick, which is absolutely perfect. And we will claim this Empoleon. So this is looking really good for us. As the heal does stop, and he goes out back out into his Ninetales. And so here, last time he pulled a double out, and I have a pretty free switch in to my Klefki every time, and I don't expect him to want to stay in, so I think he's going to double out yet again, as he does. So this is absolutely perfect, as I do go for the high jump kick at this point. And the reason I went for high jump kick over return is if he tried to stay in and go for like Blizzard maybe or whatever, it would just be dealing more damage than return. And so here I'm going to go for the return, as he will give me his Beedrill actually. So Mega Lopunny claiming his third KO this game, which is absolutely amazing. Really putting in work this week, and really putting in work this whole season so far. So I will get a little bit more hail chip, but he will go back out in his Ninetales. And at this point I'm like, okay, I can't keep messing around with this Ninetales, so I will go out into my Klefkis at this point, as it does seem like he wants to stay in, which is absolutely perfect for me, as he does just click the Moonblast. And so it does virtually nothing. Gets a special attack drop, but it's not too big of a deal. And here I know I just want to set up spikes, as it kind of pressures him from wanting to keep switching in and out all the time. So I will just start setting up my spikes and letting this Klefki go down, because at this point my main win condition, since the Darmanitan is so low, my main win condition is the Darmanitan. So if I can just get more chip on the rest of his team, my Darmanitan pretty much wins the game from here. So especially with this Victini being so low. So here I will just set up another layer of spikes, and he will actually go for the Bolt Strike, expecting me to double out, I guess. But I will not do that in this case scenario, as I don't really care about Klefki anymore. And this Bolt Strike won't KO me. And so here I could set up a third layer of spikes, but I'm just like, it doesn't really matter at this point. His team's so low that Darmanitan pretty much wins. So I go for the heal block. I just wanted to show off the set, just show my my secret tech. So he will go for the blue flare here. He will KO me, which is totally understandable. And here I can freely go back out into my Mega Lopunny and basically just claim up another KO at this point. So here I will go for the return, claim this Victini, and at this point all he has left is his Gliscor and his Ninetales, and I pretty much win with the Darmanitan at this point. So here he goes out into his Ninetales, which I thought was totally fine. I'm just going to let this Mega Lopunny go down. If he wants to set up an Aurora Veil, you know, it is what it is, and I can just kind of try to stall that around. But if I go for the high jump kick here, it will be doing big damage. But he actually doubles out into his Gliscor, and here I go for the high jump kick, but I miss it. So it's super unfortunate that I missed it. It would have been able to, I basically would have been able to win this game straight up then, because I would have been able to click return, and it would have KO'd this. Or if you would try to go back on Ninetales, it would have done, would have KO'd the Ninetales as well. Super unfortunate, but I just go for the Ice Punch as, like I said, it doesn't really matter, because at this point my Darmanitan wins. But I would have liked to have my Mega Lopunny claim a few more KOs. But I will be KO'd by the Ninetales chip damage at this point, or hail chip damage. But here, like I said, I can go on my Darmanitan and pretty much win this game. So his win condition at this point was hopefully that his Gliscor could live a Flare Blitz and basically sack his Ninetales and then go into his Gliscor and hopefully he can live a Flare Blitz. But he actually just goes hard Gliscor, which I didn't understand, but it didn't really matter because his Gliscor does not live a Flare Blitz, unfortunately, and so my Darmanitan will be able to KO the Ninetales and put us in a comfortable 2-0 victory. So good game to my opponent. He played very well this game. I feel like I kind of played a little bit sloppy. No, I guess it was only really sloppy with the Mew. I probably could have played better, but it wasn't too big of a deal. We claim this 2-0 victory, get 2 KOs for my Darmanitan and 4 KOs for my Mega Lopunny, which is absolutely amazing. And we defeat our opponent. So anyways, guys, I'm gonna head out. If you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe if you guys are new, as always. Hopefully we can keep this league going. Cross my fingers, but either way, I will see you guys next time in the next video. Peace.